All right, Chris. How you doing, man?
Oh, man. You're right, bro.
Yeah, good,
No
man.
problems.
Another early morning move. Look. Look, come in. 7:09. Bloody hell, that's early, isn't it? That always makes me a bit nervous, though. That does. I often find you can't trust these moves when they're this early, and that there's going to be another move when London opens properly. We shall, of course, see. Did you catch anything in the end yesterday? Right, let's have a look. Let's do some analysis, shall we? Loads of strength in on the dollar.
Right, sorry, man.
That's all right.
Fucking weird there.
No worries, pal.
Yeah, but no, I didn't catch anything yesterday.
No.
The short was nice, right? Eventually, one of them.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
Euro USD just took a little bit of time to catch up, didn't it? So
Yeah.
I was almost completely out of this. So I only had a little position on it, as I said last night. But I think I took profit out somewhere around here. I think that first push, I took most of my profit off there, and then ultimately I got stopped out for break even for the rest of it. So I didn't get much off it. I think I got like a quarter of a percent, 0.25, something like that out of it. So it was nothing special. Obviously, we did have a push down afterwards. We could have got to 3R on this setup. Again, probably could have entered a little bit earlier, but for me, look, I'm being really, really strict with my rules lately. I just won't trade in that zone anymore. I just know now from experience that zone is a pretty shit time to trade. So I'm not gonna force trades inside of it. Simple as that. So for me, it's a case of
every now and then there's a setup, right? But obviously you can't catch every setup.
Nah, that's it. And you know what? Look, the retest was quite nice, to be fair. So we had obviously our morning push, and we kind of predicted that quite nicely that it was, going to tag EPA. And there was just, I was looking at the DXY yesterday, and there was something about it's the shape of this that didn't indicate to me that this was, a key move. And I think part of the reason for that is that it wasn't really taking any liquidity. So if you look to the left, even if you go to the 4 hour, see how it's just like tagging into that imbalance. So for me, that's not an area where I'm going to expect a big reversal from. It is an area, and this is the thing, with like those lower graded liquidities, so imbalances, as you know, I class as like a 30% liquidity, they might have an impact on price, but the likelihood is that they're not going to cause a major reversal. The likelihood is that they're going to cause some sort of resistance, we're going to have some sort of pullback, and what's most important is that the initial, the momentum leg that we're in, that is what carries my favour. So when I'm then looking back at this, and I've had this pullback off an imbalance into an EPA level, for me, it's pretty clear that this is likely just to be a continuation pattern. Now, there's an argument to say that we could have got a short off here, but based upon my rules, there's times where I'll see trades and I'm just like, this makes sense, but it's not actually a setup that's in my playbook. As in, the reversal from EPA absolutely made sense, but for me to want to enter that trade, I need all of my moving parts, which is ISC, MSU, and I didn't have that. So when I don't have that setup, that doesn't mean I'm not going to trade. It just means I have to wait. So for me then, it was a case of waiting to see how the market reacted. Now, we had that lovely reaction down there, and the pullback entry here, that was a really nice kind of 15-minute MSU if you look at it. So, sorry, 5-minute MSU. You've got, structure here. You've had a manipulation, liquidation, and you've got a lovely little engulfing. So you could have got in on that pattern, but again, it was outside my trading window. And I've just learned the hard way too many times that if I don't follow my rules, I often will lose. And even if I won, it's like we were talking about last night, even if I won, I would end up then either feeling great about winning on a trade that I shouldn't have ever taken, or if I'd lost, I'd have kicked myself, telling myself, well, why did I take that trade in the first place? It didn't meet my rules. So I had to wait. for New York to open, and then it was just a simple continuation pattern. Obviously, I didn't take Euro USD as a full position. I took GU instead, and GU was the much nicer position because it pulled back and it took an external, internal on the lower time frame. It's an external, higher time frame, and internal. It took out a key liquidity point, whereas Euro USD, it didn't take out any kind of internal. It took out internal to this leg, but it didn't actually take out the external liquidity of this leg, whereas GU took out the external liquidity of this leg. So for me, it was the better trade. I had to jump in with obviously a much tighter entry than I normally would, just a simple continuation entry. I entered effectively off a 3-minute ISC, as you can see there. I had a strong feeling because of the way EU was looking, because of the way that the DXY was looking. I had strong divergence on this. So for me, with divergence entries, I'm happy to enter them more on a risk basis. And this is part of the new entry models that are coming with the strategy in December, is that if you've got a divergence entry, you can just trade the liquidity sweep effectively. You don't need to wait for ISC MSU. As long as you've got divergence with other pairs, it validates that trade idea effectively, because if this is already moving down, this is already creating the MSU pattern, this is already moving up, this is already creating the MSU pattern, then we don't need to wait for an MSU on GU. We can just take the liquidity sweep and take a pretty tight entry. And then in an ideal situation, you would have gotten somewhere like this with a stop just above that high, and you could have got yourself maybe like a 5, 6, 7 R trade out of it quite easily. So yeah, that's just a little insight to what's coming, Christopher.
Makes sense, man.
Yeah. Right, let's go through. Let's do a bit of analysis. I haven't updated my charts for a couple of days properly, so let's start from the top and do what we need to do. So, very, very bullish week so far. Now, that could mean that we continue bullish, and previous momentum on the other charts, on the previous weeks, indicates that we should be continuing bullish. However, we have no guarantee that we will continue bullish. We are on Wednesday after all, and obviously on Wednesday we could be still setting the high of the week. So based upon this chart right now, I am of course bullish. We had a previous bullish day, which is good, so we can mark that on. Previous bullish day, but ultimately where we're going to go from here is a big question mark. I quite like the look of that daily level. If we can get a nice push up to that daily level today, and then at New York create a reversal, that will give us just cause for the rest of the week being bearish. However, we do have an overall bullish momentum, so I'm not going to force the reversal. I'll trade it as and when I see it. In terms of the current range that we're in, this is the previous range that has now been broken. Okay, clearly broken out of that. I'm not a huge fan of trading this high, if I'm honest. I want to see some sort of, I'm just having a look at the daily liquidities. Yeah, I want to see some sort of pullback ideally. Let's mark that on. We've taken out the weekly and we've taken out that EPA, so that's now dead. Let's just mark it on anyway, here to here. EPA. Okay, that's now done. And we had a weekly level there as well that we've taken up. So we've taken out last week. So look, we are overall very, very, very bullish. And that is something that we do have to consider when we're looking into trades and things like that. EPA level there, weekly dead there. Let's mark that on. Where is it? Dead weekly. So let's just keep an eye on kind of what happens from here. Whilst I quite like the momentum of this move, we're not even hit 8 o'clock yet. So I think the London Open will be a good indication of what we are to do. If we can get a nice pullback, with London that takes out maybe a liquidity point down here potentially, because there'll be lots of early traders in there, right? So if we can take out liquidity here, maybe liquidity here, maybe liquidity here, then that could give us a long setup. So I'll set my first alert on that first level. Let's see where we can go from there. In terms of the hourly range, we need a confirmed pullback before we can confirm the new range. Right now, we're just in the bullish range. And when I haven't got any structure to trade off, then I'll often just kind of sit and wait and see what the market gives me. Okay. Let's have a look at the Euro USD chart and see what's going on here. So let's just again tidy this chart up a little bit. So that's a dead weekly level. Let's mark that one on. So we've got dead weekly. Okay. And then we've got dead daily over here. So again, mark that one on. Actually, do you know what? We've got the weekly level now. I don't need that on there. EPA's been met. Let's just mark that on for reference. So EPA's been met. And EPA still outstanding there, but we can take that off for now because we're quite far away from it. Similar sort of analysis really. So daily chart, we're taking out daily lows all the time. We've just taken out the daily from yesterday, which is interesting. We've got another daily level down here, which could be a near side target. Mark that on, daily. And obviously previous day was bearish. So we have daily and weekly lined up with each other. Obviously the 4-hour chart is showing exactly the same. In terms of where we are structure-wise, from a range perspective, this is our most recent range. We need a confirmed pullback before we, and you know what, we may have had, yeah, do you know what, actually, to be fair, that is our range there. Okay, because we have had a confirmed pullback. 2 breaks of structure, so that is the current range that we're in. And you know, it's just too low for me to be considering a sell from here. You know, I want some sort of premium pricing, or at least a 50% tag. Again, similar sort of analysis. If we can pull back and grab some liquidity in here, we may, of course, just do this. We may just come in, tag this imbalance, and then shoot back down if we've got a lot of momentum. But we are at Asia low right now, so whether that happens or not is obviously a big question mark. You just have to wait and see, really. See if GU's looking any better. See GU again. You know, do you know what? I keep looking at GU and thinking, do you know what? We need, maybe I trade this more because it just seems to move better. But I think that sometimes that's like the mystery of the unknown, isn't it? You feel like you can see things because you're not trading it as much, but it just seems to a lot of the time have better positioning like this. It's pulled back lovely into, you know, that's our very clearly confirmed range. Pulled back into nearly the top 25%. We've definitely pulled back into premium pricing. You know, that would have been a valid setup if it wasn't so early in the day. Whereas Euro USD is just so low in comparison, it makes it much more difficult to trade. Right, London's just opening now. Let's have a look at Germany 40 as well, because I haven't looked at this for a couple of days because I'm not really sure what it's up to basically. Let's have a look at the daily. So we've got daily liquidity here. Mark that on. Daily. We've just broken and we're rejecting the monthly level, so that is significant, of course. So let's see what happens there. 4-hour range, pretty clearly defined by the looks of it. Yeah, 4-hour range is here. That was a trade we didn't take, thankfully. 4-hour range is here, so we are in a nice 4-hour range now. What these charts kind of give me a feeling of, or maybe not EU anymore, but what these charts kind of give me a feeling of is that we are setting up to create a reversal today. You know, the fact that we've had just a solid bullish push on the dollar. I'm not sure. When I'm not sure, it's always worth not trading, isn't it? Just taking your time. No entry, unfortunately, here on Germany 40. Unlike we had yesterday, there's a lovely entry yesterday on Germany 40, the sell in hindsight. I was expecting personally, because we're obviously bullish, I was expecting this to be a liquidity sweep. Now I've had that shift. Okay, now I've had that first break of structure, which is here. And then second break of structure, which is down here. Now I know that we have, at least for the short term, shifted bearish, and that is an hourly shift as well. So we've got lovely little motion. So now I'm effectively bearish on Germany 40. Euro USD obviously bearish, GU obviously bearish. So for now we just trade these pairs short. I wonder if we can get an entry out of Germany 40 this morning. I wonder if we can pull back and try and grab some liquidity from somewhere. If we can like grab this high, we might actually be able to get into an entry. Depends on how far it pulls back and what its obviously its aim is here, but this has all the hallmarks of BCR, right? We haven't had the raid, unfortunately. We've got the build up, we've got the consolidation. We'll see what that does. London liquidity's come in. This could be one of those days where you just have to kind of just try and get in and grip on. Have we got any news today? So look. No, nothing. Yeah.
Some later on at 3 o'clock and that.
Is there?
President Lagarde speech.
Who?
It's just listed on TradingView. President Lagarde, is that how you say it? Speech.
What currency is it?
Anyway.
EU.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned about that. To be fair, wouldn't be too concerned about that. It might have an impact, but it's orange folder, and it's 3 o'clock news. I don't find for me. I'm just looking at red Euro USD news or red GBP or Euro news. To be fair, so I don't
It's
think.
red on the
Is it?
alerts.
Yeah,
Red
they do that sometimes. They have like they differ on what they class as red and orange and yellow.
I know that's not like a major one though, is it, like interest rates?
Nah. Should be okay. Should be okay. Right. Unfortunately, unless we can get a nice pullback here, I feel like these moves have gone without us. I feel like this is one of those days where you're watching the chart just melt, and there's almost like no way to get into it. You know, there wasn't even an entry in there. There's been zero liquidity pullbacks at the moment, other than that one. You had an MSU there, and an MSU there, and then it's just gone. So you'd have had to be quick this morning. So you'd had to be in by like 7:20, which is just a little bit early for my liking. If we can get a pullback, and dollar has a habit of doing this, doesn't it? Where it'll have like a really big push in the morning, and then it'll pull back really, really nicely. So if we can get a pullback, you know, maybe we can catch something. Is there an entry coming in here? Oh, we've had a bit of a gap printed there. What have we got on here then? So if I were to take a trade here with stop above there, 48 pip stop. Where's my next liquidity? So my next liquidity is what? Daily level? Nope. 4-hour liquidity level. That's an external liquidity level down here. Let's mark that on. Oh, I just realised I'm still recording. Right, recording done. See you later, guys. Right, let's get that saved. What day is it today? Wednesday. Wednesday analysis. DXY. Euro USD. What's the date today? 21st? 22nd? 23rd? Alright, Carlo. Alright, Sam. Snuck in there, didn't you?
Hey, what's going on, man?
How we doing? You good?
Good. Okay, so you ended up looking at entry at Euro USD 1.08056, where it did a liquidity sweep.
I wouldn't have taken it
That
just.
high?
I wouldn't have taken it just on the sweep. No,
Okay.
too risky for me. So what I need is confirmation. So the setup that I'd be looking for is what we call an MSU. So it consists of the ISC, which is the liquidity sweep, then a structural break from some sort of structure to the left. Let me give you a better drawing actually. Okay, so if we just draw this section of price out, okay. So that was our ISC, that's our institutional sweep. Then we have a structural break, okay. Then we have structure created, then we have a manipulation of that in structure, and then an engulfing. Okay, what that gives us is this pattern, and we can then enter off the engulfing. Okay, so that's my confirmation entry. That's what I'm looking for. So that would have been a valid trade. The ISC isn't as clean as I'd like it to be because there's no imbalance in that. That's just due to low volume, effectively. There's not enough volume in the marketplace, and that would make me a little bit cautious as to whether or not I'm taking the trade. If this was at 8 o'clock, we would have probably got a really nice setup. Just unfortunately, we didn't. The liquidity sweep itself, this is what me and Chris were discussing earlier. So the liquidity sweep itself, and this is kind of content that will be coming in the new course in December. The liquidity sweep itself, you can trade as long as you have divergence on another pair, so a confluent pair. So for example, you could have traded the liquidity sweep on the basis that you've got divergence. So that would be a divergence on DXY. Okay, I've got a module coming on divergence soon, by the way. And therefore you have this pattern. So the Euro USD has made a higher high and swept liquidity. whereas the DXY has made a higher low, therefore not swept liquidity. That shows that there's strength on DXY, and it shows that the dollar is strong, therefore we could have taken that. But based upon the standard entry that most people are aware of, that's in the current course that you're learning at the moment, Carlo, that would be an invalid trade. Trades like this and entries like this, they have to be understood as much higher risk, because we've created a higher high, right? So there's no confirmation at this stage where my mouse is right now, there's no confirmation that we're going short other than the fact we have swept liquidity. So it's just one to be careful of. But yeah, absolutely, on the basis we got divergence on the DXY, it is a valid trade, and it is a trade that we can be taking if we want to play that higher risk entry. For me, I'm rarely at the charts before 7:30. We did a couple of sessions, Chris and I and Sam, I think, kind of from 7 to 7:30, and it was just quite a quiet time. So I have one of my rules is I don't take any trades until after 8 o'clock. So sitting watching the charts for an hour beforehand, for me, doesn't breed the best of habits. It makes me look for a trade. So I'm trying to be away from the charts between kind of 7 or between, but anytime before 7:30 really. I try and not look at them too much. Every now and again you're going to miss a move like this, but you're also probably going to miss on false moves as well that would have screwed you over. I am strongly considering a sell on the DAX.
I took a stupid buy on it this morning.
Say again?
I took a stupid buy on it this morning.
On what? On the DAX?
Yeah.
Did you take it from your phone?
No, I was literally
Liar.
You just said you don't do it out of the laptop.
Yeah. Too early.
Trying
To buy that. It's bearish. First break, second break.
I know.
Bearish market.
1 minute order block there, take all the equalize out, which would give me the $16 I needed in an hour.
Yeah, that's what I said. Saying to you last night, man. That's $16. You can blow your account trying to get that $16. Right, I'm gonna take this. Right, where are we? What is it? 50 pips. You watch this absolutely plummet whilst I'm trying to take the trade now. Dexy. What was it? 50 pips, wasn't it? 0.9. 0.9. Germany 40 chart 0.9. Right, I'm in. Stop loss 19.
Or is it just 5 pips? And it's just like...
Oh, I call it 50 pips. I don't 100%. I'll honestly, Chris, I don't 100% know. I don't fully understand the pips on indices. I just know that if I type in 49 into my... So, I don't know if you... I know into my trade calculator, it gives me units. It tells me 93, and I know that I've got to divide that by 100. So if it tells me 93, I've got to go 0.93. So I don't fully understand what it means.
Okay, actually, I'm putting 93 lots.
Yeah.
Right?
Technically, if I do 494, calculate, that gives me 9 units. So I think I've got to add a 0. Whatever that number is there, I think I've got to add a 0 to the end. Yeah, that gives me 0.94. So what I've got to put into my calculator is 4,940 to get an accurate lot size.
Okay.
So yeah, I just type it in, and I just whatever. If it shows me 93 lots or 93 units, then I'm obviously not going to take it. Sorry, 93 standard lots. I'm just going to do 0.93. That's what I've kind of learned.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it took a bit of trial and error at first. I kind of knew that from trading US 30 all that time ago. I'll manage this quite tight because the stop's quite wide on this. I'll manage this quite tight. Obviously, we've only got 1.6 down to first liquidity target, but on the basis that we are quite bearish, I'd like to target... We've got that like flat liquidity down there, so I'd like to target that. Would be nice. So that would be a weekly level. So I'll manage this quite tight, to be fair. We've got 4R down to TP2, so that gives me enough. Let's see if we can get, you know, a nice little setup on here. If I get confirmation, I start getting bearish structure on this as well, I will enter a second position. So I'm always entering half positions when I take my trade first off, and then when I get confirmation, I'll enter in another half usually.
Hello.
Hello?
Morning, you alright?
Oh, morning, dude. How you doing?
Not too bad, right? How's it going?
Lovely little morning for you, eh?
Yeah, it was a nice wake up. I was anticipating it.
Nice work, mate. Well done. Well done.
Wish I held it longer.
Well, no. That can kill you. That can kill you. I think, look, you already held it longer than you targeted, right? So you've done better out of it. What you've got to do, as I said to you this morning now, is you've got to write down some rules around this. However you traded it, you've got to set that as like a, what do they call it? They call it a test, don't they? Is that the right word? Basically, like, if you're doing a science experiment, you have a baseline of rules, don't you, that you follow, and those stay the same regardless.
Yeah.
So build some rules around it and just test the shit out of it now, and just make sure that works for you long term, because you might find that holding a trade like that to say past the first liquidity into the final liquidity, for example, you might find a trade like that works out maybe 30% of the time, gives you 4R each time, but works out 30%. So you've then got to work out whether it's worth you doing that or whether it's worth you sticking with the first liquidity point. And that's where the strategy tester will help. So you can plumb this all into the strategy tester, and it will teach you which one of those strategies. So basically, every time you take a trade, you need to trade in exactly the same way every single time. Okay, same sort of target, same sort of final target, same sort of entry risk, all that sort of stuff. Okay, put it in the strategy tester, and after a month or two, you'll have loads of data collected, and it will show you which version of your strategy is most profitable.
Yeah. I need to get on it.
Yeah. It's a really, really good process. And do you know what? When you, I mean, again, I hate to keep using him, but something me and Sam have been working on lately, when you start to see, you know, how different your results can be, it just gives you an overwhelming sense of security that your strategy is not only working, but actually, in time, you can make it even more profitable than it currently is.
Yeah, you gain that confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That strategy test blows your mind, honestly. You'll be surprised at the data it shows you.
Yeah, it's really clever.
I'm gonna get on it. I'm gonna start today.
If you have any issues with it, just fire me a message. And I'm as you know, I'm available all day. Fire me a message, and any questions you got, just let me know, and I'll come back to you as quick as I can. All right.
Yeah. You set them relative equaliser against a couple of days there, you're not worried about them on the bats.
Nah, is what it is, isn't it? If it takes it, then I just get a second entry.
Yeah, good.
I'm looking at.
Target for the garbage buys this morning, but
I'm looking at this as like a, and I've got a liquidity sweep there. Look, failure to make new high, and a new low.
yeah.
So I've got all the elements that I need to confirm this move. We've had our second break of structure. I'm not in any kind of, well, I suppose I'm rejecting. Yeah, do you know what? There is a risk to it because we are rejecting these external levels down here. But it is what it is. If it loses, it loses, and we'll look and see what the market gives us next. Ultimately, hopefully, though, we can get a nice push, and we can get some sort of confirmation. It's early yet, isn't it? What's it? 8:20. It's early yet, so let's see what happens. Oh, I need to put this in the group. No, I keep forgetting to do that on these live sessions. Right, taken DAX short. A little bit of a pullback on EU. See, this is one of those trades, and I see this all the time. This is one of those trades that you could take like that, right? And it could end up just absolutely plummeting. The only problem with it is that you've obviously got a monthly level down there, which we're probably going to see some sort of resistance from. But it doesn't look like it wants to pull back today. It'd be really good if everyone in Germany followed suit, eh? And, you know, higher time frame wise, when we look at this could just be a complex pullback. So I can't trade it any other way. because I've had my second breaker structure. I have to trade it short because nothing is telling me that we're long right now. I've had my reversal and I should be pulling back into these lower prices. That's what my theory tells me, is that I should be pulling back into these lower prices. Now, obviously we have been very bullish for quite some time. So it could just be that this was just a liquidity grab to then go long. But if that is the case, I need, and you know what, Sam, you are right, because we failed to make this effectively is a failure to make a new low below this. So there is definite cause for us to go long, but in order for that to happen, I need to have the same sort of structure, second breaker structure, and then I can go long from there. So until I get that. Say again?
I've got a 4-hour range, which 4 hours is just slightly external liquidity from before. So you see the orange wick just left of your sell.
Yeah.
I took that as the external sweep to go higher.
Yeah.
I was trying to take a higher just a bit early.
It's definitely valid. It's definitely valid. The reason, well, sorry, it's not valid. And to tell you why it's not valid is because you haven't got the lower. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I suppose you have got. It's quite weak, but you have got some 15-minute structure in there. Yeah. I see it. I do see it. I do see it.
Such a stupid 1 minute order block instead of waiting for it. Well, I mean, it seems the same now, isn't it? But stop trading off blocks and wait for sweeps in it.
I've still got faith that we might be going short, you know. I don't think this is done. I don't think this is gonna make an effort to come all the way down here. Because it will have taken quite a lot of liquidity from there, thinking about it. Yeah, do you know what? In hindsight, maybe this was maybe a little bit of a rushed trade. We have got just calls to go long as well. So possibly in hindsight. Do you know what? This is, I think, sometimes the problem with these live sessions is I feel like there's an obligation for me to take a trade so we can kind of trade on them live. I've got to be really careful with that because I don't want to be eating into my profits.
Anyways, I'm shooting from work. Best of luck. See you later, guys.
All right, see you later.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So look, this is one of these days where you sometimes you just got to get in and just grip on and just hold out for as long as you can. If you'd taken maybe the engulfing, you'd have had a relatively decent entry there. But it's a shit entry. It's difficult to get into.
I've tried taking UM over time.
Yeah.
It don't work.
So many times they do this, don't they?
Yeah. You need to catch up, like higher time frame, like momentum, right?
Yeah.
At the right time, in the right moment, or it just pulls back.
Sometimes it's just
liquidity.
That's it. Sometimes it's this is that FOMO feeling, isn't it? Sometimes you just need to just hold fire a little bit and just wait and see what the market gives you. Like this, for example, looking at this now, we've obviously had a very clear liquidity move here with a big gap as well. So, do you know what? Hindsight, maybe I should have just waited for some bearish confirmation. If I'd waited for push down, MSU setup, that would have potentially given us a better entry that we could have gone short from. It might still hold, but there's definitely, I wouldn't say this is one of my finest trades. There's definitely risk to this. And that's just because I wasn't fully focused on the trade. I didn't zoom out enough. I wasn't looking at my ranges and my external liquidity sweeps and things like that. Hopefully it plays out, but it might not. And that's a lesson for me. Every trade you take, especially the losses, they're the lessons that you learn from, right? Got liquidity up here, so we may have a reason to go short from if we can grab some of that. Make sure my stops are lined up. 19,470. Come on then. Oh, give us a second entry. It's quite nice. I've actually got quite a nice entry on GU right now. MSU.
You just playing that MSU there. You've got
Yeah.
to all be like confluence to.
Yeah, you got OB there. Yeah. And then we've got that level down there as well. So you could have first target off there. So it's not a bad setup, that. What is that level I'm looking at? What is that? What is that? Why is that marked on? Right, that's a weekly level. We have just swept Asia though, that's the only slight hesitation I have. Right, you're pushing now, which is nice. You need to keep pushing. Right, I'm going to take that as well. GU, chart, sell. 19,29769. 2977. Modify. 2977 and then 2968. 2968. 29682. Let's see what we get on these then, boys. So yeah, this is where MSU 2s can sometimes screw you over, right? Because if you'd taken the MSU 2 entry, it would have been that. Okay, you would have been stopped out. The argument, however, is that when you get the second MSU 2, you would enter that one as well, so you have to take that risk on board. I personally just quite like the standard MSU because it has a safer stop. That's my personal preference. I'm confident enough in my strategy these days that I don't need to have really tight stops. I don't need to have really big wins. I just need to win consistently. That's how my strategy works ultimately. Let's see if we can get some confirmation now on GU, and I might get a second position out of that. DXY seems like it's only one way. Right. If we can get a 5-minute close, well, what's the time? 3 minutes. Get a 5-minute close below that level, that should open up for us. First profit target off around here. Time is it? 8:27. So we're about to close the 30-minute candle. What's a 30-minute candle saying? I think we're well enough below. Yeah, we've got to continue from here, surely. EU giving another entry as well by the looks of it. Just GU's got a lot more room to move, which I like better. surprised if we have a sweep of Asia this big and we don't get a continuation, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's like took the high through, right, and then moved well past the low.
Yeah.
With
So
momentum.
just need a bit of a confirmation now.
Yeah.
Failure to make a new high, push down, break those structures. Hopefully we'll get it. Taking G short. Germany 40 as well. Yeah. Germany 40 and GU are quite synced up today, aren't they? Similar sort of structures anyway. Again, same with Germany 40. We've taken that low. I haven't had... Really, we would need more structure to go long. Just theoretically. Yeah, that's what we like. Right. So 30-minute candles now closed. 5 minutes is now closed. So we want to start to see some bearish structure come in. Both of these charts. I want a clear confirmation now, so I want a clear break below this level. And then I'll take another position. And my second position will look like this. With that stop above the high there. If we get it, of course. That would be my second position. Divergence as well with EU and DXY. Which is good for us. Lower lows, high lows. Sorry. Lower highs, which is here. Divergence. Okay. High lows, which is here. Divergence. GU is giving us a higher high. So that gives us our divergence. Liquidity building up across here as well. Time is at 8:30. This shouldn't be really hesitate too much right now. Trading's so boring.
Once you're in there, that's when you need FX replay mode to press the button.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, come on, let's get a nice close. That's it. Right.
EU starting to push lower now too.
Is it?
Yeah. Makes sense if it's going for that monthly level, I think.
Yeah,
Or
I think so.
weekly one, whatever it is out there.
I think so.
I would say more markdown.
If we can get the DAX as well to start pushing down, then we're on to a nice morning.
What is the DAX again? It's like value of all the German businesses.
Yeah, so it's like UK 100.
Yeah,
Top 40 businesses.
Yeah.
I think in Europe, I think it's called Germany 40, but I think it's European. I might be wrong there. It might just be Germany.
Oh, okay, so it's all like the top Europe businesses.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Does that mean it correlates with EU much? Or not really?
No, I did think that myself, but no, I didn't find that it did. I think when there's big Euro news, or big when there's big like Euro news, that will often have an impact on it, but it doesn't seem to correlate too much with Euro USD.
Yeah.
Right, what is the DXY doing? So the DXY's had another push. I think this wants some liquidity. I think it's run out of steam. I think this wants to grab, which doesn't bode well for our trades. Might be wrong, but I feel like it needs some liquidity. I feel like it's overextended and it wants to grab something and be a naughty little bugger. Right, this is looking more promising now. This one. That's not good. I don't want any more liquidity, please. Right. That was not what we wanted to happen. That position is now dead, sadly. Should have waited for a better close, to be fair. I was a little bit too impulsive on that. Right, this is just being a dick. I will try it again a second position, but I just need some confirmation now. This is why I don't like these early morning moves, because they kind of like it like exhausts the market, doesn't it?
Yeah, I always find hard to trade when that happens.
Yeah.
You don't get anywhere and you take the wrong position.
Yeah, right.
Or if, like...
Whereas, annoyingly, and this is sometimes the issue with divergence, is because we have clear weakness on Euro USD, whereas we're actually showing some strength on GU. which, you know, is a double-edged sword, right? Because the strength can sometimes, you know, cause us to get into trades that, you know, we're getting into early. I would just like everything just to continue in my direction now, please. That would make my day. And I can just go and just chill out for the rest of the day and not have to worry about whether New York's going to give me anything. I do love it when you get a win in London.
That's why I try. You still get emotional when you're in trades?
A lot less than a lot less than I used to. You know, I feel like for me, I've got like a responsibility to you guys. I do feel like there's extra pressure these days to be good. Like I feel like I can't have a bad week, you know, because it looks shit and I might lose members or put people off, you know, joining the community or whatever it may be. So yeah, it does. There's different kinds of emotions now. I feel like if I was just trading on my own, I feel like the swings and roundabouts, I think there'd be slightly less pressure, but also it doesn't keep me as accountable. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword sometimes.
You shouldn't feel pressure with this, isn't it?
No, I know, but it's
2 hours in the trade, isn't it? Rather than forcing trades. Just
yeah. No, I get that. I appreciate that as well. I appreciate that. I just want to, you know, make sure you guys have that confidence and that reassurance as well. Right, this has been a dick.
Check, just a quick question. Sorry,
Of course you can.
joined. It's is that a setup ISC setup?
This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's technically. So it's technically an MSU. So it hasn't really got, the ISC is over here. So the ISC, there's one here and there's one here. So the ISC is the initial liquidity move that we need to indicate to us that there's been some sort of manipulation of some kind. Okay, so once I've had my liquidity sweep, that effectively gives me direction. So I've had my liquidity sweep, and the fact that I've failed to make new highs indicates to me that I can basically look for an MSU to get in. So in an ideal scenario, let's say we were trading at 7 o'clock at night, we would have taken that trade. ISC, MSU, engulfing, and we were sold down there. We didn't have a liquidity sweep here, but we don't necessarily need to, because, you know, if you look at higher time frames, your liquidity sweep is here effectively, and, you know, sometimes it takes, especially overnight, it takes a little bit of momentum for the price to play out. So with this one, and we were discussing this earlier, it maybe was a little bit early, but this one itself was just an MSU, or what you will learn to know as an ARTO, which is basically just a large MSU. It's an MSU on a higher time frame, basically.
Right, okay.
You little dick. That's all right. No, it's fine, mate. And that is what these sessions are for you guys to ask questions ultimately. Right, GU looks like we might be now pushing, which is good. Unfortunately, it took me out that second position, which is not good. So what I want now, before I would enter another position, okay, is I want some sort of structure. And another MSU would be perfect now. I definitely want to see a push. Pardon?
Yeah, I think my work
Bloody hell. Arthur's chatting, isn't he? Arthur, mute your camera. Mute yourself.
Put me on the personal number, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Do it on the personal number. Right, I'm muting him. I'm uninterested in his personal numbers. Right. Let's have a look. Germany 40 seems to be moving now, which is good. I'll tighten my stops to here. DAX stops tightened. And we are just about in profit on GU as well. So all this is, guys, a little bit of profit taking, a little bit of buyers coming into the marketplace because they're expecting higher prices. You know, hopefully, you know, this will just continue down. We've got liquidity down there as well. What in terms of like next liquidity we've got? Right, nothing substantial, nothing on the. We've just taken a 2-hour liquidity, but I'm not really fussed about that. Just need a bit of confirmation now. Be nice. Don't push back up. No need to push back up, is there? What's the point? What is the point in pushing back up? That's the question I've got. What is the point? Who needs to push back up? Who needs any more orders up there? Just keep going. That's all we need. Just keep going. Keep pushing. This does look promising now, though. If I was a braver man, I'd take another entry now, but I've learned the hard way with those. This does look like it's about to drop any minute. You know, like when you're... Has anyone been to like an arcade where you got those like 2p waterfalls? This is like there's loads and loads of 2p's now, just like at that edge, and they're about to drop. You just got to keep putting your 2p's in. That's what we need. We need people to keep putting their 2p's in now, and that's going to drop. We've got everything we need as well. Don't pull back. It's silly ideas. Right, hopefully though, what will happen here is we'll get a little bit of a liquidity sweep here, and then we'll have enough momentum to get short, or to get long on the DXY, of course, but to get short on GU, which is why and I've learned the hard way of entering like now. It looks like it's going to drop, but it might not drop, and it could reverse and go all the way up, and I'm not going to drop 2R on a trade where I haven't yet got confirmation. The fact that it's not reversing though is promising, and the fact that we are quite heavily bearish is promising, so the likelihood is that it will just continue. This has been a little bitch today, isn't it? Come on, we've taken liquidity. We just need to drop on this one. Right, GU's starting to move. DAX is taking a little bit of internal liquidity. I just feel like I feel like it's like hunting for liquidity right now. I feel like that's why it's struggling to get short. Alright, here we go. That's a little bit better. Right, Germany 40's moving at least, which is good. Where do we want to hold this to? Right. If we're taking some liquidity, that's okay, just as long as we don't take too much. I don't see any reason why we'd reverse from here. Got nothing kind of significant in there. I'm okay with a bit of a grab, as long as we keep dropping, of course. Time is it? 15-minute candle's just closed. What's the 15-minute showing? Right, nice candle on the 15-minute here. That's good. Shit candle on the 50-minute here. Shit candle on the 50-minute there as well. If we do get stopped on this, we'll be really unlucky on GU. hopefully we can recover the losses on Germany 40 though, which is moving nicely. Right, big sweep on GU, big sweep on EU, big sweep on DXY. Right. What are we doing here then? There we go. Right, that's a bit better. That's a bit better.
I think GU is trying to get those stop losses and liquidity up above.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, you've got a little bit in there, haven't you? Which is good, and that's moving nice as well. This is why, again, this is sometimes. So normally, what I would do if I was taking a trade is I would take the trade and I would close my charts down and set my alerts, because I feel like sometimes watching these trades it can be really stressful, and you can then make decisions that you wouldn't make if you weren't watching it. Like the amount of times I've been looking at it thinking, oh, shall I close half? Shall I close half? But you have to really be strict on your rules in these moments. Right, we've grabbed liquidity in. Let's have a look. What have we grabbed? We've grabbed liquidity in there now. So we need a nice push on DXY, which hopefully we'll get. EU, we've grabbed liquidity as well, so we need a nice push. GU started to push, but then it's now pulling back, which is not ideal, and that's pulling back as well. Oh, it's been a little bitch today. Again, this is why these early morning moves are sometimes really difficult to trade, because they give you like this false sense that it's going to keep dropping, and then it just doesn't. Right, guys, I'm going to jump off. I think I'm going to stop staring at the charts a little bit. I will keep you updated in the group. I'll leave the trades as they are. I'm going to set a couple of alerts and just see what happens from here. Right, I'm going to move my alert down to here, and I'm going to move this alert down to here, and then I'm going to close my charts down. And yeah, good session though today, guys. Difficult market conditions. Hopefully, we'll get some wins out of this, and I will post the results in the group when I get them.
Sounds good.
Cheers for tuning in, guys. Catch you soon.
Thanks, bro.
Cheers, anytime. Bye bye.